All right, turn on my video. Virginia, they're the first one I can see. Can you hear and see me okay? So I'm going to give you a heads up and apologize for my bright green background. I was just telling of our Emerald training call. I'm actually at my parents', and this is my old room. And I decided when I was about 12 that I wanted it to be lime green, and it is still lime green. And I'm sitting at a little girl's table right now. So thankfully this business can go anywhere. All right. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I know there's a couple of people that couldn't make it and they were super bummed. So I'm going to make sure I'm recording. And we're going to dive right in because we have Collen Curtice on the call tonight, and I was lucky enough that in leadership in San Diego, that was the first time I actually met Collen in person, and I had creeped her before, and I'm like, that girl has good makeup. I love her wedding photos. She just seems unreal. And even Virginia said that when I announced she was speaking, she's like, I love Collen. But I finally met her in person. I'm like, this girl is just amazing, and I need her to talk to our team. So Collen is here tonight to talk about mastering your mindset, which is something she's had to work on and has really dominated. And that's a topic that I know a lot of us are into because we're also so focused on the mindset of this business. So just to give you a quick rundown of Collen, she's actually sitting at 108th in the company right now, which is insane, out of like 400,000 coaches. She's a premier coach. And get this, so she's 5-star in her first business center, 1-star in her second, and her husband, who is super, super fun too, is a 2-star coach. She hit her goal of being a 6-figure earner this year, and she's a Success Club 10 legend. And okay, this is my favorite part, and she says her favorite part too. She actually earned 2 free trips to Cancun last year and got to take her parents on the trip too. And that like makes me choke up inside because that's what this business is about. It gives us opportunities to do things we never thought possible. And she was able to take her parents on a free trip, which is, to me, probably one of the most rewarding things you could ever do in this business. So I am going to pass it over to Collen. She's going to be talking about mastering your mindset, and I hope you all enjoy her company. So I'll pass it over to you, Collen.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm really excited for tonight. I've done this talk many times now, and as I continue to speak on mastering your mindset, it grows and evolves, and so I'm definitely the crazy person that you hear about talking about mindset. This is going to be a very different call than what you're used to because we're not talking about this is how you get to Emerald, and this is how you get to Diamond, and this is how you hit Success Club. This is all the stuff that no one else really likes to talk about. And some people like to call this the hocus pocus. So I'll be the wizard for tonight helping you guys because I believe personally, and I know that the most important thing in your life and in your business is your mindset. Because we have all these amazing trainings. Morgan probably has the most amazing training sitting in your team page for you guys. So why aren't more people successful? And the answer is mindset. So a lot of us hold ourselves back, whether it's fear or emotions, or we have no idea why we're limiting ourselves. And so I hope that I can help you guys dive into that a little bit more today. And so I know that there's, the average coach would look at what I'm about to talk about and say, hocus pocus, I don't need that. Well, it's easy for her to say. She's seen success, so it's easy for her. And I'm going to paint a very vivid and clear picture of how difficult life was for me before Beachbody and when I decided to make a change in my life. But before I dive in, I just want you guys to know that I'm on day 7 of the Ultimate Reset. So if I sound a little off and can't catch my thought, it's because I'm on the Ultimate Reset. So, and I'm also going to respect your time of doing a 30-minute to 35-minute call. If you guys do have questions, you can either send them to me later or to Morgan, or you can ask at the end. But I do want to respect everyone's time, so I'm going to zip through this. Okay, so I've been a coach a little bit over 2 years. Just turned 30. Just got married this summer. I grew up on the East Coast, and I now live in the West Coast. And if anyone's traveled between the two, they're like 2 completely different planets. So the way that I was raised and the way that I live now are 2 very different experiences. But when I grew up on the East Coast, my parents gave me an amazing life growing up, went to school, I got good grades, I didn't have any issues. I played college volleyball on scholarship. I mean, I had it all. And when I graduated college, I got the corporate job. Like most of us think that when you graduate college, you need this fancy resume and you need this title and a salary and a job to go to. And living on the East Coast, no offense to anyone that lives on the East Coast, but that's just kind of how a lot of people think there. You go to college, you get the job, you buy a house, you get married, you have kids. And then to me, I was like, I'm going to get old and wrinkly. And that's just kind of how I thought I was going to go. But now living on the West Coast, I have a whole different perspective. So I'm thankful to have both sides, though, because my work ethic and the way that I present myself in professionalism is completely different, I feel, as if I was to be raised here. So when I did graduate school, I got the corporate job, and I worked as a retail store manager at Verizon Wireless. And you have to think back, this is 2006. So this is like before smartphones, before iPhones and all that fun stuff. And I'm a tech geek, so I was really, really excited. I went to school for graphic design, but it was more of a hobby for me. So I worked for this company for about 5.5 years. And when I turned 24, I got really bored. Started traveling, fell in love with California. That's how I ended up here. So I now live in Lake Tahoe. If you've never heard or seen Lake Tahoe, go Google it. It looks like a postcard. And I was so appreciative that I was able to move here and transfer my corporate job. But unfortunately, when I got here, my manager that I ended up having to work for was a complete devil. She literally turned my life upside down. She would find a way to make me feel insignificant every single day. I would feel this big. And no matter how hard I tried to impress my boss and to go above and beyond and stay late and come in on my day off and do all those things, that it was never good enough. So I ended up putting up with her for about 1.5 years, to the point that I wasn't sleeping well. I was going out partying all the time. I was so stressed out that I couldn't eat healthy due to ulcers in my stomach. I mean, literally, I was rotting from the inside out. Very depressed, lacking self-confidence. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen my before and after picture. You guys can go creep on my page, but I don't look like the same person. Not at all. And I didn't even have a big weight loss journey. It wasn't even like that, but you can just see the difference and how happy I am now. So one day I come into work working for this horrible boss, and she says, hey, I'm going to transfer you to this store because they need your help over here at the store. And I'm really excited about it because I would do anything to get away from this manager. And so I transferred to the new store, and within 30 days, that store closed. I found out that this manager that was making my life a living hell already made my life even worse by transferring me to a store that was closing, and I lost my corporate job. For me, that was the moment in my life where I felt like the rug was completely ripped out from underneath me, because I played all my cards right. I got my good grades. I got this job I was supposed to. I did everything I could. So why was life happening to me? And I mean, I know a lot of people hear, oh, this person lost their job. Well, that stuff happens. And I can't believe I'm part of that statistic, but I am. So after I lost that job, I was like, okay, I'm never going back to that life. Like, what the heck was I thinking? And so I took the next year to kind of just pick up jobs here and there. I managed a tanning salon. I worked at a nightclub. I did all sorts of things. And so that's when I was scrolling on social media, and I came across my upline. And if you don't know her, she's Elizabeth Hartkey. Amazing. Go stalk her. I went to high school with her, and I had seen this Beachbody glow that she had. I didn't actually know what Beachbody was. I didn't know what she was doing, but I was very intrigued because here I was, a very broken, I was also in $20,000 in credit card debt just from retail shopping because I was so depressed. And people ask, how can you rack that up? Well, when you're that sad, that's how you make yourself happy. So I lost my job. My boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, actually left me because he was just like, you're so negative and so down. And he's Mr. California. If you ever meet my husband, he's like rainbows and butterflies. Everything's all good. That's what I call him. And so he just couldn't deal with me being such a Debbie Downer. And so I felt like I was losing complete control of my life. And in a way, I really was. So when I saw my coach, I didn't see a post about her income. I didn't see a transformation. I didn't see her on this extravagant trip. I just saw a happy, healthy, glowing, confident person. And that's what I wanted. So I reached out to her and was like, hey, I'm going to do this. And this was my opportunity to run a business because someone else took away my opportunity to do that. And so I treated this like a business from day one. And I hope you guys know the opportunity that you have sitting in front of you. I went out, I bought a planner, I bought a binder, I committed to T25. I said, if I can't do 25 minutes a day, 5 days a week, I don't think I can change my life. And that's the mentality that I had. And so I started to study successful people. And I started to look at these top coaches who at the time was she's my upline. She's a top coach. And I was like, there's just something different about her, like something that I don't have. And so it took me a little while. And that's when I realized it was the way I was thinking, because I was so conditioned to think negative and to tune into all the worries and the stress and, oh, but what about this? And, oh, I have debt. And oh, how am I going to do that? I have to wait 2 years to see success. And I mean, that was my typical mind frame. And that's kind of normal for a lot of people. So I became infatuated with the idea of mindset, because I said, if I can master my mindset, I'm pretty sure I can do anything. So I'm going to dive right into some of my mindset stuff, but that's how I got started with Beachbody, and that's why I started to become obsessed with mindset, because as a new coach, you kind of feel like you don't know what you're doing, right? Because we have no idea. When Morgan and I started, there was no coach basics. There was none of that stuff. So we went out and we fell on our face 10 times, and we had to figure it out. But the thing that I did was I shoved my nose in personal development, and I watched any videos I could, any trainings, any webinars. I stalked all the successful people, and I was like, okay, they're thinking like a successful person does. So if you guys are struggling in the mindset area, I have a new challenge for you guys. This is what I do when I'm having a rough day. I wake up in the morning, and if I feel like I'm just not having a positive day, I put myself in Carl Deichler's shoes. Think about how that man wakes up and feeling the pressure on his chest every single day to be the CEO of Team Beachbody. It makes all of our worries and stress feel about this big, right? So I put myself in his shoes because I want to be successful. We're the CEO of our own business. You have to think like that. You can't think, oh man, it's raining out today. Oh, I have to drive to work. I have to bring the kids to school. I got to sign up someone with a challenge pack. Oh, one of my coaches quit. Like, we can't allow that into our brain. You can acknowledge it, but you got to move along. So some of the things that I'm going to share with you guys today, you'll be able to catch yourself in the moment, literally, like this. If you've ever been to Tony Robbins, he teaches you that you can change your state. How quick? Like this. And he teaches you that. And it was so awesome when I did Tony Robbins 2 weeks ago, because everything I've been practicing is what Tony Robbins says. So I get really excited now to even share more. So there's actually a difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. And in my eyes, all of you are here because you want to be successful. And the one difference is, there's many, but the one we're talking about today is good thinking. So when you're in a situation where there's an obstacle or a challenge or something that you don't like the way it's going, I am going to challenge you to say, what would a successful person be thinking like? And here's how you can put that into perspective. So I always like to use examples because it's real life. It is what it is, right? So my sister and I are complete polar opposites. And so in this example, it's sister A and sister B. If you've ever seen pictures of my sister and I, we don't look alike. We're 7 years apart. We don't look a thing alike. She's got 2 different color eyes. I have blonde hair. And we can both look at the exact same scenario and see 2 completely different things. And isn't that funny? Maybe it's you and your husband, or you and your sister, or you and your brother, you and your coach. Like, how can 2 people see complete opposite things? And it's all perspective. So the fun part is you have control over your perspective. Not anyone else's, but only yours. You guys can hear me still, right? My screen just like blinked out. I don't know what happened. Okay, so every day you have the choice to be sister A or sister B, and I hope you'll pick sister A. So here's the example. There's 2 sisters hanging out at the kitchen table eating dinner, and sister A had been working really hard to get into college, and she knew she had, or to get into her graduate program after college. She knew she had to get into this program to advance to the career that she wanted for her future. She needed the education. So that's sister A. And she's sitting at the kitchen table, and mom hands her a letter, and she opens it and she gets accepted. And she's like, yes, I did it. I get to work hard and advance and grow, and I finally get to pursue my dream life. And so then sister B is sitting next to her, and she goes, oh, that sucks. You have 4 more years at school. You just graduated college. So see how 2 people can look at the exact same scenario, and sister A, who I hope you guys pick every single day, sees a challenge, hard work, failure, making mistakes, diving into the unknown, being scared, being busy, piling on the workload as an opportunity. Sister B says, oh, hard work? No, not for me. I don't really like that. And so anytime that there's a challenge or a crossroad in front of you, I want you guys to treat it as opportunity. You have that choice every single day. And another example I can give is, it's the last day of the month and there's 6 hours left in the day. Do you go to bed and say, I didn't hit Success Club? Or do you do everything you can in those last 6 hours to try and hit Success Club and help one more person? Because if you go to bed and wake up, and let's say you still didn't hit Success Club, you feel a lot better about all the hard work you put in rather than just giving up. That's how a successful person thinks. And so every morning when you guys wake up and put your feet on the ground, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Are you just allowing yourself to have this vicious cycle of negativity in your mind? And if you read books on how to be successful, they tell you that the first hour of your day is it's the rudder of your day. So I suggest doing your personal development in the morning. I know a lot of successful coaches, even with families now, they're listening to personal development on their way to school. And as much as your kids might be like, Mom, what the heck? You can totally train them into thinking, hey, you want to be a real big CEO of a business someday, right? And they're going to be like, yeah, Mom, sure. Dad, sure. So every day when you have these amazing struggles as a Beachbody coach, I want you to focus on your perspective. If something goes wrong, it's an opportunity for you to learn and grow. And I also call mastering your mindset your insurance, because it's not if I struggle, it's when you struggle, how are you going to handle it? You have a choice to conquer or crumble when a struggle comes your way. So I always use the example of people doing the unthinkable. How do people do the unthinkable, especially in this business? I look at people like Lindsay Matway, Janelle Summers. They have 45 plus diamonds. That's just mind-blowing to me. I mean, I can barely hold 5 diamonds in my first business center, and these women have done 45 plus. And so to me, we'll call that the unthinkable. They're like the Beachbody Olympian athletes. And so I know one thing that they do is they train their brain. Every morning when they wake up, they have their blinders on, they have their goals set, and they're not letting all the voices that are made up in our head, which is also our mindset, get in their way. It's the same thing for me. It's the same thing for Morgan. We have to talk ourselves through it. We're not any more talented than you guys. We just have to focus on where we want to go and what we can control. So that's another thing, if you guys are taking notes, focus on what you can control. A lot of people ask me, so how do you master your mindset? How do you feel better in the moment of negativity? If I have anything to control, I feel better about it. And I go focus on something positive. And my favorite point about this entire talk is this. Why should you give 2 hoots about a strong mind? Why should you care? I just got a new iMac. Sorry, I don't know what's going on, but things are just popping up on my computer. So I'm like, are you guys still there? Why is a strong mind crucial? A strong mind is crucial because the people who have their mind made up and it's strong in here, they don't need validation from anyone else. And my inspiration is Amy Silverman. And you know that woman goes after what she wants and she gets what she wants because she does not care what anyone else has to say. You don't have to think like you're a badass and you don't have to have, this tough mentality. But if you honestly have a strong mind and your mind is made up, you're going to go in one direction and it's forward. You'll have your blinders on and all these distractions and little voices are not going to bother you. So mastering your mindset takes effort every single day. And the key is, in the moment of negativity, how long do you let yourself stay in the moment of negativity? But for me before, it was like 20 days I was mad at the world about something. Now I got it down to 20 hours, 20 minutes, 20 seconds now. Get pissed about it. It's all good. You're entitled to feel that way, but it's how long do you stay down? The successful people stand right back up. So I know that the book You Are a Badass is kind of old news now in this network. It's been around for a while, but for me, that book was everything. That was the book for me, which is why it's so important to always be reading books or listening to podcasts, because there's going to be a moment that you're just like, I get it. I finally get it. I am worth something. There is only one you. There's only one person who has your story. There's only one person that has your life. So why don't you feel special? Who told you that you weren't special? If there was someone in your life that didn't make you feel special, why are they in your life? I now believe in myself more than ever because I gave myself the opportunity to grow. Sorry, need some water. I gave myself the chance to fail a little bit and to let the emotions flow. I don't resist the struggle. I don't resist the sad feelings. I allow them to happen and then I learn from them. And I know how to stand back up even taller. And that is what makes all of us stronger. This is not news to you guys, but sometimes we just need to hear it again. So you're literally rewiring your brain. Like everything that you think and feel and believe right now has to change. Not everything. That's not what I mean, but the bad things. So we've grown up. I don't know how old you guys are, anywhere from 20 to 40 to 50. We have to rewire our brain. So it's going to take some time. It took me about 8 to 10 months. But just like, the first time that you do an Insanity Max 30 workout, did you feel like you were going to die? Absolutely. But as you went more and more and more and strengthened, then you were like, oh, I can do this. I got this. It's the same thing for your mindset. So I talk a lot about empowering yourself. And for some people, this is the hardest thing. They don't understand how to empower themselves. So if you're taking notes, write this down. Action cures fear. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. So Morgan and I are not, placing you in this one bubble and say, okay, you can only be this successful. And then coach 22, you can only be this successful, but coach 30, you can be as successful as you want. You're making up this bubble for yourself. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. So if we work on our mindset and we work on action is what cures our fear, you're going to feel unstoppable. I'm not afraid of anything. And I know that probably sounds really egotistical, but I'm proud of that because I was scared of life for so long. So now when I meet a new coach, I start everything with mindset. I'm like, tell me your concerns and fears. And I basically just let them word vomit and puke on me. And I'm like, okay, do you feel good? You got that out? I'm like, why do you feel like that? I don't know. Because you made it up. So we talk about mindset from the very beginning as a new coach. And so if you're someone who really struggles with confidence or really struggles with belief and fear, please know that tomorrow morning you can wake up with a clean slate. And people ask me, so how do you get out of your comfort zone? How do you empower yourself? You know what I tell them? I say, take a couple blows. Just get out there and let someone make it sting a little bit. If you get some criticism or if you get some judgment, so what? It's going to make you stronger and you're going to go, I survived. The world did not end. Your career as a coach did not end. Carl Decker did not call you and say, hey, I'm closing your coach account. You're going to be okay. I think as adults, this is really important to talk about. I'm kind of a very direct, tough love kind of coach because as adults, we should be doing awesome things and we have the coolest job in the world. So when people are like, but I'm so scared, I'm like, no, we have to move forward. I want you to empower yourself. So you either have to take baby steps or if you're crazy like me, you dive in head first. Never done a webinar before? Who cares? Get on there and practice. Talk to yourself. Don't even tell anyone. Just go and do. And then when you get off, you're going to message Morgan and say, Morgan, guess what I just did? And it was awesome. Okay? That's how you cure your fear. So when you realize that I'm looking at the clock here. When you realize that it's all a self-limitation, which is also known as your mindset, you're going to look back and say, why was I allowing myself to think like that for so long? I am capable of so much more. So when I stand next to someone in this business, for example, Morgan, Bonnie, Angle, some of these women are like my success partners, and they're 10 times more successful than I am, if I'm being honest. They make more than me, they rank advanced faster than me, but I focus on what I'm grateful for. Because honestly, they can be doing something better than me. That's okay, that's their journey. I know that this has changed my life. You can all agree that becoming a coach has changed your life because you would not be on this call if not. Whether it's you lost 10 pounds, you love Shakeology, you paid for your groceries this week, sometimes we lose sight of that and we forget how important and grateful this journey is. I would be commuting 26 miles one way to work if I had to go back to that miserable life and I wouldn't be married to Sean. Tell you that right now. This job saved my life. So the rank advancements and the income, all of that is great, but your mindset and the way you think and your attitude matters more than anything. Okay, last thing, failure. So failure, I always ask coaches, so why didn't you decide to join my team? Or what do you think is holding you back? Or even for a challenger, and they say, you guys already know the number one answer, I'm afraid to fail. Well, girlfriends and boyfriends, let me tell you, the only time that you fail is when you quit. Like, how do you fail at this business? Or, I like to add, or when you don't try. Because if you don't try, you're not failing, but you're not really getting ahead and you're not giving yourself the chance. So I like to add that little part in there. But how do you fail? If you don't hit Success Club 12 months out of the year, are you still a coach? You bet. You wake up on the first of every single month and you're still a coach and you have the opportunity to get out of your comfort zone, master your mindset, and be a rock star. Really? So Mindy Wender teaches us to replace the word failure with the word stumble. because we're really only stumbling in this business if something doesn't go how we planned. We miss a goal, you didn't break your head off, your legs off, your arms off, and you're rolling down the street. You're fine. You're going to be okay. Failure is only a delay. So if something goes wrong, for example, I actually missed Elite last year because I decided to grow my husband's account so that I could earn more money and so that I could take my parents to Cancun. So I wasn't an Elite coach last year. But do you know what? I was okay with that. Does that mean I failed? No way. It's just a delay. If I missed Elite again this year, would that make me a failure? No way, because I hit my goal of earning 6 figures this year. Failure is only a delay. So stop making the excuse and telling yourself the same story that failure is your biggest fear, because it's not. You're just afraid of being fearful. We're afraid to be scared and to get out of our comfort zones. But when I was a new coach and I heard the motto, everything we want is on the other side of fear. And I still use that to this day. If I need Success Club points, do you know what I do? I get out there and I do the hardest workout out there. I share about it. I make a video about it. And I will do like a crazy throwback, Throwback Thursday post about a really deep, dark place in my life, and I'll compare it to where I am now. Every time, hands down, I get support and love and communication, and I help more people. Every single time, it never fails. So think about it. What's holding you back from being successful in this business right now? I guarantee if everyone was to write in the chat box, it would be all due to something that they're afraid of. That's it. And if you're saying time, don't go there. It's not time. Okay, so personal development is my jam. The last few minutes here. I call personal development your invisible little tool belt that floats around you at all times. Because if you're not bettering yourself when life gets hard, what are we going to do? We're going to say, Morgan, life's just a little too hard for me right now, so I got to go deal with it, okay? And I can tell you right now, a year ago from right now, well, I know we're in November, but my husband got diagnosed with testicular cancer. And I share this with you guys because this is life. This is real life, okay? So when he told me that, what do you think most people would do? They'd say, hey, team, I got to go deal with this over here, but what can I do? What can I do about cancer? I can get really mad at it, or I can say, universe, we got this. You stand up tall, and this is when you dive into Beachbody, because even if you have a job that you love, I guarantee you will not get the same support that you would at Team Beachbody when something goes wrong in your life. So when life is hard, you dig in deeper. You push back harder, and you stand up tall, and that's when you tell your team, we're doing this together. And I doubled my income, I ranked advanced, and my life changed because that's how I empowered myself. So because of personal development, I knew not to run away from my work, to dive in. So I hope you guys can recognize what personal development, if you think about what Beachbody coaching is about, if I had to put it into one phrase or one word, it's personal growth, 2 words. That's it. You grow financially, you grow physically, you grow mentally, you grow emotionally. It's all personal growth. So if you think that sharing like the prettiest picture online and is everything, it's not. It's you personally and then sharing your story behind that. So I'll share a couple other books with you guys that I absolutely love. The book that really changed a lot for me, like I said, You Are a Badass. But when you read that book, I don't want you to read page 1 and say, that was awesome. And then page 2 and say, that was all right. I don't really believe her. You got to soak it all in. She's a national bestseller, and I know that if we just allow someone to tell us our own reality, we know that she's right in that book. Because sometimes it stings to hear, and we're like, no, that's not me. You're right. But it really is. No Excuses by Brian Tracy is a book that helped me realize. So for a long time, I was like, I'm working hard. I think I was at 18 months. I'm working hard. Why isn't my money growing? Why aren't I recruiting more? And even at 28 months, I'm still asking that. Why can't I recruit more? But you know what? I take the mentality that it's my job to pay this forward to someone. It's my job to rank advance, and it's my job to double my income. And it was a whole new perspective for me when I took full responsibility for everything I'm trying to accomplish. Granted, this business is about helping others, and their success in a way determines ours. It's our responsibility, and you'll become a much stronger leader because of that. And then the last piece of personal development that's really helped me, and hopefully you guys are into podcasts, because I resisted podcasts for a long time. I was like, I'm not doing that podcast thing, and I don't know what my problem was, but I got sick of reading for a while. I'm kind of hard-headed, if you haven't noticed. So I Bonnie told me about Entrepreneur on Fire. It's an amazing podcast, and Morgan's nodding her head, so she's probably told you about it, but I guarantee that there's still many people who haven't gone and listened to it. And I love it because he actually does it 7 days a week. It's amazing. Don't go by the titles either, because sometimes the titles can throw you off. You'd be like, why do I want to hear about this person? Just listen to them all. They're about 30 minutes long. And I love that he brings on successful entrepreneurs, but he doesn't say, tell me about your business and tell me what you did. He has them share their toughest moments as an entrepreneur and their failures and their biggest aha moments. And it reminds me that the reason my success is not where I want it to be is because I haven't failed hard enough or long enough yet. And it reminds me that these successful people have been through the ringer and back before they had everything that they wanted. And they probably still need more. So failing forward is not some fancy name of a book that John C. Maxwell wrote. Failing forward is a necessity to this business. So sometimes I'll ask my team, what are you failing at today? What are you going to fail at today? And it's a whole different, look at this, perspective on failure. So everything that you guys think and see now, I challenge you to challenge yourself in every moment when you're thinking something negative, or if you're not sure if you can handle it, tell me why you can't handle it. Tell me why. And then you'll be like, all right, I can do this. Just muster up the courage to stand up to yourself, because most times no one else is telling you that you can't do it beside yourself. So that's my spiel on mastering your mindset. I hope that was helpful. The podcast, I just saw the notes. Entrepreneur on Fire is the name of the podcast. Hopefully I don't know if I actually said that whole thing, but you can find it right in the podcast. And I love it. I listen to it in the morning. I'm, working from homeschool. So I lay in my bed for a half hour in the morning with my doggies, and I listen to my PD. Sometimes I'll do it while I'm in the shower too. You can get one of those Bluetooth speakers for $20 on Groupon. So if you don't have time for PD, you're lying. Well, I'll find some for you.
That's so funny. I just got my waterproof Bluetooth speaker in the mail yesterday. Steven was making fun of me. I'm like, what? I can never use my podcast in the shower.
Dakota, yes. That's right.
Well, thank you. Oh my gosh. I knew when we met you and your hubby in San Diego, me and Steven went back to our room, they are cool people. But now, because before I was like, she just has the coolest wedding photos. That's how I knew you. But now I feel like we are cut from the same cloth, because our team is hardcore PD too.
Awesome.
You're right. We totally believe the same thing. That's what it's all about. And you came at it from a different angle, which is awesome. I'm so jealous that you went to Tony Robbins. That's on my dream board one day.
Yes. It was amazing.
That would be a game changer. I just finished his book, Awaken the Giant Within.
I still haven't read it, which is kind of sad, because that's his oldest book. I need to definitely read it, but I'm still digesting the event.
I can imagine. But honestly, that was so good. I think that's exactly what we all needed to hear, because sometimes do your PD sometimes floats by. And you broke it down in a much more digestible way in why we actually need to do it. Why does it make a difference? So I really, really appreciate that. And I can't wait to talk to your team in a couple weeks.
Yes, we're so excited to have you.
And if anybody has any questions for Colleen, just post them in our team page under the graphic I made of her. Oh, and I posted that you were on stage with Autumn Calabrese too. So this business brings pretty exciting things. Colleen got to go work out on stage in front of a bajillion people. So
awesome.
It brings ahead pretty cool opportunities too. So if you have any questions for her, just post them. But thank you so much, Colleen. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. And I hope you guys wake up and be awesome. And don't tell yourself anything different, okay? See you guys later.
Got it. See you later, guys. Thanks, Colleen.
Bye. You're welcome.